Hello everyone, I hope you all now registered and managed to reach this page and you have access to these models. Alright, so actually first of all the first, second, third and four models are more in theoretical part about Linux distributions, and as I mentioned they are not very important for us. They are now okay, it's fair enough to know what does it mean distribution or distro, and you have to answer what distribution or what distro do you use. And even though I recommend you very like essentially and very important that you have to go through the chapter exam and answer the questions. From there you will learn a lot without studying. You only have a fun. You read the question. You can do it also with your group mates or with a group. You answer, you all read the questions and then you discuss about the answers, possible answers, and what do you think, which one is the first one. And this is the learning with fun. So I recommend you to do this. Please do not read the chapter. Even though the most also part here that you have to know the structure of the folders or the directory structure. For example, in the same case that you know in computer in Windows, so you have here Windows, and here you know the program files. There are the programs that you are installed already will be there. Here you have a users, so there are the users inside this computer, and you know there are pictures, documents, music, download folders, and you know when you download something then automatically it's going to be downloaded in this folder. When you have a picture then you don't already will be in the pictures. In the same way you have to know in Linux. So here now you have a root, so you can imagine it like this. So you are under, now I am under the root, so in Linux it can be represented by this is the root. Under the root, you have subdirectories. The first one is called a directory called boot here in this distro. Then another one is called div for devices. Then a third one, etc, which is what we are going to know later about etc. And then we have home. And under the home, you can see the users. So here we have another user or a new user called Dolphy. And if I open this one, then we have these directories. So this is the directory structure. Of course, you can return back and then you can explore more. Lost and plus found. No, not here, sorry. It's going to be here. Lost and found because I am under the directory now. There is also mnt and so on. So this is the directory structure in Linux. And you already now have to know that the home is for the users, and here there is one user now in this Linux distribution or in this server, and these are the directories and files related to this user. Okay, you can make another user, then you will see the next user automatically will be here, third user, and so on. Now we only have one user. We are going to learn how to create users later in this playlist. All right, so I think this is what you need to imagine about it, and keep in mind everything is written in a file saved somewhere. No magic in Linux. So when you type L as a command, then a command is written in a file, and the instructions to execute this command will be called when you run the command. But where these commands are saved, this is what you are going to explore in this course. Okay, so let's keep it simple and this keep in the first task. Now you only need to keep in mind that the directory structure of Linux is in this way. So if you are here under this user, then you have to go up, and then you have to move to this one, and then you can enter the files here. And if there are files here or directories, then again you have to, and you are here, then you go up, and then you move to this one, and then you can dive in. However, this is called directory structure. We will practice it more and more, but the concept is this. You start with the root. This is the root directory, and then you move down, and that's it. And this is what you move is called path. All right. Alright, so let's keep going now and dive in details. And the first lab we are going to explore is called command line skills. Alright, please do the chapter exams. And now let's see what is the one in chapter 5. As I mentioned, as you can see now, these are the objectives of this lab. First, we are going to explore past features, and then we use shell variables, and then be able to make use of uh, quoting or quotations. All right, here in this course already there will be a Linux distro loaded in the same page, but actually, as I mentioned, we are going to use our own local Linux in Windows 11. You can run it through WSL. Okay, even though here sometimes like this is the um, one that you can practice with it, but if you don't have internet then you won't be able to access this, so you have here always the Linux in your machine already. Alright, so let's move here and see files and directories, and let's have a look for a while for this prompt. And actually here, for first impression, you have a lot of information to gain or to know from this line. Actually, here, the first one, this is the username. So the user now, because they're in Linux server, there may be many users. But now, currently, the user who is using this Linux server is this one. This is the name of the server, the user. And then there is a @ and then this is the name of the host or the name of the machine that is currently running. So the name of this machine is this laptop 06, and here if you can see the name of the user is system admin and the name of the machine is called localhost. Okay, so you can say the name of the server and the name of the user separated by @. Also, we can gain more information. Now I am in the home directory with this tilde. I can say that this is the home directory of this user, and this is the normal user. This is not a super user. If it's a super user, then it's going to be a hashtag like this. It means that this is a super user or a root, and with $, it means that there is only a normal user. I have a normal user privilege. Alright, so one more again, the name of the user is Dolphy, and this is the name of the local or the machine, and there is a home directory. Now currently I am in the home directory of this user, and he is a normal user. Okay, this is a thing, good information we can now acquire. Now I know who is the current one who is using this user or this machine. Alright, so let's move next and let's try to type ls. And as you can see here now, I have these files inside the local or inside the home directory of this user. Let's make this, let's check it. Here I am in Ubuntu and go to home. This is the user, and here I have the files. So this is Geneva, and this here is a directory, and there are the files. By the way, if you can see here more files and they are not available here, for example, this folder called cache, it's here you can see it, but here is not, because actually with a dot, when a file or a directory starts with a dot, it means that it's hidden, then that you don't see it here. If you want to see it, then ls minus l, so or minus a, that means that you would like to list all the directories and files also if it is hidden. Okay, so you can see now the cache is here, but if you just run it ls like this, then it means that you are running it without only the available files. The hidden files are not shown. All right, one more time. This is the directory, and I am inside the home directory of this user, and I am inside here the home directory of this user, as you can see. Okay, you can do this, and you can from here somehow uh, delete or reactivate, so the hidden file will not be shown. Okay, I don't know where, however, it's not important. Okay, so this is the task that you remember. This is the information we can get from this line, which is called prompt. All right, let's next do ls with L, which is very popular command. And here you list all the directories in a form of list. So here also you can get a lot of information from this output. So if you type only ls, then you get it in this way, but the common version is minus ls minus L. And here you have more information about the content of this directory. So here you start with the permissions. So the first D, it means this is a directory, and the read write execute, this is the permission that we are going to know about it later. And here we have the links. We also would like to, we will know about this later, but here you can get the size of this directory and when it's modified and the name of this directory. Okay, and then we have here another, this is a file. I can say this is a file. In my distro, it can be distinguished that this is the directory from the color. But here I can, if I have only black and white, then no problem. I can tell that this is a file because it starts with a dash. If it's dash, then it is a file. If it's D, then it is a directory. Okay, here's D, then this is a directory. When it's modified, and this is the size of it, and this is the owner of this directory. Okay, sorry, this is the owner, and this is the name of the directory. This is the file name, and this is the owner. Okay. All right, so let's recap. This is the first one. I can say if it's directory or not. There is the owner, and this is the name of the file or the directory, and here when it's modified. All right, let's move forward and let's learn how is the structure of the command prompt. So when you write a command, what are the rules that you have to know when you would like to write a command? So I'm sure that all of you, they will say, okay, I just type ls, I know the command, but to master the idea, to master Linux, you have to know the structure of the command. It's not just like by randomly you type ls minus L, this is okay, but minus L, ls, this is not good. Why? Because there are rules that you know already, you are using it already, but probably you don't know. So the rule says that first you put the command, and then you put the option or options, and then you put the argument or arguments. Okay, so this is the rule when you interact with the Linux terminal. Okay, so what does it mean, a command? The command, let's say ls. The option is like minus L, minus A, and then the argument, which if you don't give an argument, then by default will be the current directory. All right, so let's practice this with the rules. ls, this is the command. Command is going to be ls, and for the option, it should start with minus or dash, and then you put the option. Here we have L, and then we put the argument. The argument is the directory that you would like to list. So if you don't put anything, then the Linux will consider that this directory, which is Dolphy. All right, let's see, for example, again, ls, but I'm going to list the directory called home. The directory home, which is here under the root directory, if we go there, this is the root, which you can represent it by the backslash, and then you put the directory. The name of the directory here is going to be home. Okay, so I'm going to list the content of the directory under the root directory called home. And here I can see that I have here only one directory. The name of this directory is called Dolphy, and this is what I can see here. All right, so now what I wanted to say, this is the command, this is the option or the options, starts with minus already, always, and you put home. Okay, so let's try to do something like this. I'm going to change. I put the command, I put the argument, and then I say minus ls. Then in this case, as you can see, or minus la, it also managed, or it also worked, because here ls minus home, this is fine by default in this command, and then l minus la. Even though that you can see that it works, but not a good way. Because for this command, for ls, it's okay because this is executed and then it can be listed by l, but if you do something else, like another command, is not work. So for safety side, you always have to follow the rules that command, option, or options, and then the argument. Keep in mind this sequence. All right, so this is the idea here. Let's move forward, and now let's answer this question. Like, if you would like to know who is now the user that is currently working on this Linux. For example, I think this is a weird question because you are the one who is working on that question in this server, and you already know it from here, Dolphy, that the user now, if I just type who am I, then you see Dolphy and it's already there. But why is needed this one? Why this command is needed? Because in Linux, if you are a Linux administrator, if you are an admin, and then you have many users inside this system, and then you are working, you move from one user to another user, and then you move from third user to fourth user, and then there are many users that you change between them, and then at the while you don't remember who you are, so you changed yourself to another user, and you changed yourself again to another user, and after a while you need to remember that now currently at that in this moment you are under the directory or under the name of which user. Then in this case, very simple, who am I, and then you can get the name of this user, and this is the idea behind who am I. All right, what about if you would like to get information about the operating system that you are using now? In this case, you have to put the command called uname, and you can see that this is Linux. And if you would like to know more about the name of the machine, which is already here, you just type uname -n, which is for a node name. You can write it with the option, you can put it only with the n, or if you would like to use the whole name, then you just have to use two dashes, that it means that you are using the whole option, not only a shortcut. So, but most probably you only will use n, and this is the name of the local machine that you are using here, which is actually in front of your eyes here in just in the prompt. Okay, let's move forward, and now in most of the cases that you are also would like to know in which directory you are working currently. So now we say that I am already can say that I am under the home directory of this user, but I can prove it using print working directory pwd, and here you can see that this is the root. Under the root there is a folder or directory called home, and under the home there is a directory called Dolphy. Okay, so let's ls, and now let's say I would like to move to this directory, so I change directory to Genva, and then you click enter, and then again you can see the path here. I am under the home of this directory, and then I am in this directory called Geneva. Okay, pwd again, and you get the same information, home, Dolphy, and Geneva. By the way, if you would like to go up one directory, then you just type cd and then two dots, then you jump up one directory. One more note, if you would like to change to go to a directory, for example here, the directory name is going to be called py web, as you can see here. Let's check it here, ls, and this is py web. Then you just type cd and then py and then press tab button in the keyboard, then automatically it will be completed. So you don't need to write all the name or all the characters. You just type 2 or 3 characters and then you press tab button in the keyboard. Then automatically it will be completed. Okay, again, go up one directory. So I am here now in this directory. When I say cd 2 times, then I go up one button. Then again, now I am here, ls in the home directory, or pwd, which is under the home, which is, you can say it here, home Dolphy. I am here. All right, 2 dots. Okay, let's move forward and let's learn about the command history. If you would like to repeat again or see the commands that you already wrote, or you would like to navigate it through the commands, then you can use the arrow up button in the keyboard. And now you can see I am doing the like navigating the commands I've used so far in this session. Okay, and up and down, this is the commands that I used. And if I would like, for example, to change the L as the content of Geneva, then here I can press the left button in the keyboard, and now I move left, here I move right. All right, if I am in the middle and I would like to go to the first character, to this D, and let's assume that there is a very long command here, not only one, it's a huge one, especially if you are using Docker or something like this in an advanced level with Linux, then most of the cases you have a long command line. And doing this character by character is a little bit like tiring. Then in most of the cases you can press the home button in the keyboard and then you will jump to the end, to the beginning of the line, or you can press the end button to reach the end of the line. Okay, so all together you have in the keyboard up, left, right, and then you have the home, and then you have the end. Okay, so I think you would practice, you will use them a lot. And if you would like to know the history of the commands, then you can write actually what is written here, what I am explaining. All right, so let's move forward and let's see the history command. And the history command will list all the commands that you have done so far. So you can see in my Linux system I use these commands, like 975 commands so far, and you can see that what I have started with this session, I mean these are what I'm started for today. All right, so the size of the buffer of the history command is 1000. So when it's 1000, then it's going to be overwritten. And this is just in case that you would like to see if someone else like you used Linux before you and you would like to see what commands he or she used, then and you are a user admin, then in this case you need to switch to his username. And then because you are a root, you are an admin, then you can access his username, and then you can see the commands he has or she has done with this. Actually, you have also to learn a trick. Then you can press in the keyboard Control and R. Let me write it here. In the keyboard CTL plus R. you press them and then you will search all the commands. So for example, if with I searching now, all the command starts with U, and then you can select them from here, and then you can like use it. For example, one more time, Control R, and then I would like to start the command with D, then I have D, not this one, then again Control R, again Control R. So I'm searching all the commands with the D. Okay, so Control R is very important tool that you will have to use when you are using Linux in an advanced level. Since you need, or you saw the command that you need, you just can click right button or left button, and then you can reach the command you need, and then you can modify it here and in a way you need. Okay, so to recap what we have learned so far, what you need in the terminal. To navigate, you can use the up and down. To review the commands you have used, left and right. To edit, the command is already there, and then Control plus or and R, then you can search the history of the commands. Of course, there is also a command called history, and this with the history command, you can see the commands already done in your machine. The buffer, as I mentioned, is 1000 by default. You can modify it, and if you would like to see the last 5 commands, then you can give comma history 5. So for example, if I will use again you can a history command, then I go to Control R, I search with Edge, again Control R, I'm searching through the history. All right, let's search about history. They are not there, so history, and I put 5. Then I have the last 5 commands I have been used. All right, so let's move forward. And if you would like to run a specific command, which is good to know, but it's not important. So here you can specify the to run a specific command. For example, the name of the command 9, the number of the command line is 9, and then you can run it like this. However, I don't use it, and I don't think it's important. But if you see something like this, then it's good to know about it. All right, here it mentioned that you can use up arrow keys and down arrow keys to navigate. And let's go to another topic, which is called shell variables. All right, so what we would like to know about the shell variables, what are the variable that you are using in the command. For example, the color of the background color, the buffer size, and let's say here we need echo, which is about the same command in Linux for print, and say hello Linux, and it's going to print out on the shell on the output here hello Linux, and this is the echo part here. And if you would like to know the size of the buffer size of the history, then you can enter the variable, and as you can see here now it's 1000. It means that this is a special variable. It's written in this way, and it's already capital letters. All the shell variables are capital letters, and the content of this variable can be accessed by putting a dollar sign in the beginning of the variable. So for example, we have also another variable which is called path. As I mentioned, this variable is called path is already capital letters. All the shell variables are capital letters, as I mentioned, and they can be accessed through putting dollar sign in front of them. Here we have to know something that let's start with this trick. When I type ls, then Linux will think about this is a command. Actually, Linux does not know anything about that now. So you just type ls, and when you press enter, what is happening here, you type ls, then this is Linux kernel, then Linux will take this command and will think, okay, it's ls, so I think this is command. Linux will do the following. We'll go into the path variable and search, is there something, a program saved in this kernel to ls? And Linux will go and search just like this, user local bin. Let's go there, and then under the root there should be user, and then under the user there should be local, and then there should be sbin, and Linux will search here, is there anything? No, it's an empty. Then Linux will go again and search for another one, which is under root user local bin, root user local, and then let's go to the bin and let's see, is there anything there? No, it's not there. So Linux will go and will search for user sbin. Okay, so I am under user, and then let's go to sbin. Is there anything written with ls? So Linux will search here. It's written like, is there anything with ls? Okay, there is no ls here. Let's go there and with user bin. Now open to user and let's search with bin. Search for ls. ls is here. So if I open this file, and it's called bin file, then you will find that, okay, in this file, this is an instruction file. If I open it now, you will not be able to read it because it's going to be in a bin format. So it's going to look something like this. It's written in a Linux, in the assembly language. So actually, we don't not read it, but here, then there are the instructions that telling kernel to list the content of the directory. And then this is how it works. This is the trick here. As I mentioned, there is no magic. Everything is written in a file saved somewhere. Otherwise, if I just type something like this and then I press enter, then Linux will go through the same process. Okay, this is mnd and then Linux will go into the path and search, is there a file with the same name to do? If not, then Linux will say, okay, this command is not found. The path is there for searching the content of the Linux. So everything in Linux should be connected to the path. Okay, so this is the trick, and here you can imagine. So when you get mn, then there is no command. Then the trick, the process is like this. This command is taken by the Linux kernel, searched by the path. If it's not there, then you will get command not found. All right. So also I used ls here, and then I can say which ls. All right, so when I type which ls, then then the Linux is going to say that this ls is already found under root user bin ls. So actually now what I have searched is already can be assigned here. If I go to mnd and I say which which is this one, then you will find nothing, because actually Linux did not uh, find this command anywhere, then you get nothing. So if there is no command in Linux with under the same name. All right, one more thing you need to know before I move to the next section, which is called a command types. Let's put together what we have learned so far. So we have shell variables. There are many variables inside the shell. For example, the history, and each shell variable should be written in capital letter. And if I would like to see the content of this variable, then I have to start with a $sign, and we have seen the path variable and how it is important when we are going to execute a command. When you write a command ls, then Linux will take this command, will search in the path. If it is there, then the command will be executed as recommended. Otherwise, you will get command not found. This is the structure of Linux. You need to understand this very well. And now I refer back then there is to my first video. Note that there is no magic in Linux. Everything is written in a file. You only know how it works. All right, let's move forward to a type of commands. Actually, we have two types of commands. The first one is called a shell command, and these commands are already installed when you have a Linux. So by default, in each Linux uh, kernel or in each Linux distribution, when you type cd, then you will change directory. This is standard. All right, but in most of the cases you will have some distributions, for example with the command called chmod. For example, this is a command in a distribution itself, so it's not necessary you find this command in all distributions, because it depends on the distribution you are using. But when you type cd, it's a shell command, so it's a kernel command. It's already executed, or it's already available in all Linux servers. So when I type, for example, here type cd, you will get that this is a shell built in. It's inside the shell itself. When I type ls, then you can say that this is an alias to auto. This is not a good command. Let's see, for example, chmod, and this type or this command is a Linux command, and it is saved, or it's a Linux program in a form of command, and it is saved under user bin chmod. Okay, so this is a kernel command, this is a shell command, and this is a kernel command. Okay, so this is, as you can see, this is what is mentioned here, and then you can type also cp for command for copy, and this is also with cp, which is there, so you can refer to it with which as well. Okay, with this step 3, I will break this video, and then I will continue in the next video with the concept of alias and the concept of controlling system. All right, so I think it's a good information you have learned so far. One more time, let me recap what I mentioned here. You can see that you have a lot of information. This is the name of the user, this is the name of the machine, it's a normal user in the home directory, and this is a normal user. Okay, we can see the commands by reviewing or navigate through the commands by typing up and down, left and right, home and end. Also, you can use Ctrl R to search for the command, and also we have learned how when you type ls, how Linux kernel executes this command. It takes it, searching in the path, and then react according to this. If it's there, it's going to be executed. Otherwise, it's going to be command not found, like this. Okay, keep in mind how it works. Again, you have a variable, shell variable called path, and each command is going to be searched in this path. Okay, with this, I think let's stop a bit and then we continue in the next video. See you there.